Hey, welcome back to KGB Knives. Kyle here. Alright, so last video was my heat treating, and this video is going to be my finishing process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a progression of belts. I'll start off with 150, 150 grit belt, then I'll go to 220, then I'll go to 320, then I'll go to 420. Once I get to 420, I'll etch in my logo. After I etch in my logo, I will stand it up again at 420. And then from there, I'll put it in a little acid bath to kind of get rid of some of the scratch marks. After the acid bath, we'll go through putting the handle on, but that'll be another video. A little tip for you guys when it comes to doing your finish sanding on the grinder, keep your grinder at a low speed if you can. Another tip that I use is keeping a bucket of water, a separate bucket of water next to my grinder to dip my knives in. And what I'll do is fill up the bucket with water, and then after I fill it up with water, I'll drizzle a little bit of dish soap in there, and I'll mix it around with my finger to minimize the amount of bubbles. What I found was by dipping your blade into your old bucket with old grindings and stuff in that, it builds up a lot of rust. It'll form rust on it faster than if you just used a fresh bucket for your post-heat treat grinding, the dish detergent. The dish detergent, I think, cuts down a little bit on the rust. I think it inhibits the rust a little bit. Without further ado, we're going to bump over to the grinder and we'll start grinding and doing the finish work on it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and hit it with the 150 grit belt. We're going to keep it at a slow speed. We're going to reduce this thickness down to about 1/1000. Alright. And with this 150 grit belt, we're going to try to take it slow, and we're going to try to keep away from our plunge line as much as possible because this is a thicker weight belt, and it'll really cut in and make a very defined mark rather than a nice gradual swooping plunge line. When we get up to the 220 grit, that's when we'll get that nice swooping plunge line and tailor it all in together. So we're going to go ahead and kick it on. Alright, so I've got everything ready to go here. Okay, I got all my flats finished sanded, my bevel finished sanded. The only thing I don't do is I don't sand this on the, I don't sand the spine or the handle area, the choil area on the grinder after I heat treat. I find I get a little bit cleaner, or not really a little bit, but a lot better clean finish with nice even sand lines that go along the spine when I get done putting the handle on. Alright, the other thing is, when it comes to putting the logo on, I basically decide if somebody's right-handed, I'll put it on this side. If they're left-handed, I'll put it on the other side. It's just kind of the show side of the knife for me. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what I use. Okay, so some things. I wear gloves. Okay, first reason why I do that is after I get done cleaning this up with some acetone, I don't want the oils in my finger to get back on the steel and affect what I'm etching. Alright, so I'll go ahead and pop open my acetone. Bam. I already shot this, but once again, in the life of me where I forget to turn the microphone on, I forgot to turn the microphone on again. But anyway, so I'll go ahead and get some of my acetone out, and I'll clean up the area that I'll be putting my logo on, or where I'll be etching my logo. I want to try to get as much of the dirt and grit up and oil and everything off as you can. Okay, put that off to the side, close that up, bam. Alright, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to grab your logo and your tape. Okay, you want to kind of let the acetone dry for a little bit. Acetone dries pretty quickly, so I wouldn't worry too much about waiting for it to get done. So you want your logo to be nice and straight and up and down. You don't want it to be canted or off kilter at all. So at least that's my preference anyway. Every knife maker has their own deal. But I'll just find a nice spot, try to get my logo to be nice and centered, and I don't want it to be, like I said, off kilter at all. Okay? And then I'll go ahead and I'll tape this bad boy up as good as I can. If you don't get it nice and tight, then you'll have to do a lot of sanding on your post etch to get it to look right. And if you etched it too deep, by the time you get done sanding your logo area, what will happen is you'll sand too much of your logo, and you won't get a nice crisp logo etch, and your knife will basically be junk at that point. I use the painter's tape. I find it gets a little bit better of a better seal than electrical tape. I feel like electrical tape, because while it does a good job at keeping, the electricity from flowing on the actual steel, electrical tape doesn't really seal that good when you overlap it over itself. So that's just kind of why I don't use it. I found that the blue painter's tape or masking tape works just fine. I just go grab some table salt, dump a bunch of it into this little blue dish or cup or whatever. Then I'll use some piping hot water, and I'll pour just a little bit in there, and then I'll mix it up so I have a nice strong salt water solution. And then because I'm a cheap guy, I've got this, it's an old rechargeable battery charger. It's like 18 volts at like 2 amps or whatever, and I just put some alligator clips on the end of it, on one end. So I got a little wooden dowel here that I drilled the center down. I put a T-bolt through, and I put some felt pad on the end of it. This felt pad is pretty much a consumable, so every time you're done etching, you're going to throw it away and cut another square out. You can pick it up at any hobby store or sewing store. Alright, so we got the logo on there. I got it nice and tight up on here. Okay, so one thing I didn't point out is I've got some glass cleaner here with ammonia, and I'll use that to kind of neutralize the etch. Alright. So I've got a piece of paper towel here. I've got my saltwater solution. And I've got my little trusty little dabber. So you're gonna take the positive side of your alligator clip, and you're gonna want to clip it onto your blade. Basically, you want to clip it on somewhere that's not going to scratch up your blade or anything like that. All right. Then you're gonna grab your dabber here. Dip it in your solution, dab off any excess, and etch it in. Alright, and that's pretty much it. Okay, then I'll grab my Windex here, and I'll just spray her down here. Get her nice and wet. Rub it down. Now you'll notice that the logo will look a little wonky at first. All right, no big deal. I'll just take it over to the grinder, and I'll just hit it with the sander, and it'll make the etch pop out real nice. So you can see here. All right, so you might be able to see it here. See how it's a little bit, mess up around the edges and stuff like that, but that's no big deal. Once we get it over on the grinder, and I'll put it on the grinder, hit it on the flat one time, and that'll make that logo pop, and I'll show you that. So if you look here, you can see the logo is nice and crisp and popping out of there. Alright, and that was with very minimal sanding. That was only about like 5 seconds of hitting this on the grinder. Now we're going to go ahead and I'll zoom out, and I'll show you what I do with the acid to etch the blade. And I just basically do that to minimize the number of scratch marks, or actually get rid of the scratch marks. And in preparation for my acid bath, this might be a little out of focus, but it'll work. So I'll go ahead and clean everything up, clean all the steel up with more acetone after I get done etching and grinding. Any oil that's on the steel, any dirt that's on the steel is gonna affect the way the etch happens. And I got my acid down here. It's just ferric chloride, the way you see everybody else use. I've got a 2-inch PVC pipe, and filled up with it's about a 50% solution. All right, so I'll go ahead and place these blades in here. I'll only put them in there for about 5 minutes, and then when they come out, I'll hit them with triple-aught steel wool, and I'll hit it as it's coming out of the acid. All right, so when I come out of the acid, I've got a baking soda solution. I've got a little drip pan. When it comes out, I'll hit it with the steel wool to rough up, or not really necessarily rough up, but to kind of use the acid and the steel wool in combination to get rid of those scratch marks. And I'll use my little plastic dish down here to keep the acid from soaking into my floor. But you'll really start to see here the steel etching. All right, so and I'll just take this steel wool. I dipped it in the acid, let it sit for a bit. Now I'm hitting it with the steel wool to get any of the scratch marks out of it. And I'll do this probably about 3 or 4 more times before I call it good. So my memory card got full on me. Went ahead and got all my blades up in my baking soda solution. I'll just take a little Scotch-Brite and kind of wipe them down, and this is what I'll use to neutralize the acid. Alright, so I'll let them soak in there for a little bit and really break down and stop the acid from going. After I come out of the baking soda, I'll go ahead and hit them up with some Windex to kind of clean them up. I'll go ahead and zoom in so you can see what it looks like. Basically what it looks like. It just dulls it up, it gets rid of the scratch marks, and that's what you're looking at. But this is pretty much it. I think I'm going to go ahead and end this video here before my battery dies. But thank you guys for hanging in and watching. I really appreciate it. If you like what you saw, go ahead and like, subscribe, or comment. And if you have any further questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments section. Thanks again. I hope you guys have a great week. See you on the next video, which will be handle prep.